What's up, cousins? Welcome to an all-new episode, a divisional recap episode, a championship Sunday episode of Cousins All In. Our beloved cousin, was unable to make it tonight. He has surgery, so you're stuck with Bonesy and I. Bonesy, how you feeling, baby?
Hey, can't believe it. What a great slate of games, and I can't believe we're almost in February. It's just flying by.
Yeah, absolutely flying by. Incredible to think that this weekend is championship weekend, and then we got ourselves a weekend off, always the dreaded weekend off before the Super Bowl, but then right into the big game. Puzzy, let's get right into it, though. Let's talk about something that you absolutely love. Let's talk about college ball. The Hoosiers win the Natty. The line was heavy. But still, a lot of people felt that Miami could win that game. Not only cover, but win. What did you see in that game? How'd you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, what a thriller. I mean, Indiana continued to find ways to win. You saw that special teams touchdown late, and a lot of Indiana backers thought they were going to win by 10 and cover. And you saw success, really running the football for Indiana. Not too many chunk plays overall in the passing game for Mendoza. But, you saw a late timeout called by Cignetti, and Mendoza, of course, with that late touchdown run. Didn't put the game on ice, but certainly improved their chances to win because, they hung on. But, really Miami after halftime, I thought really got the best of Indiana at times. But the Hoosiers, kind of the team they were for most of the season. While they didn't have too many thrillers, this was such. And they just found a way to win. I thought they did a pretty good job overall at the line of scrimmage. And I think, as expected, I thought Indiana was going to win. I thought it could go back and forth at the number. And ultimately, Carson Beck just couldn't make one big play at the end of the game. And props to the Indiana defense, ultimately, for finding a way to win the Natty.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought Indiana, they like you mentioned, Mendoza didn't hit many big plays, but he hit the big plays he needed to hit the back shoulder to Becker not once but twice in the game on two major plays throughout that game. The Miami defense showed up just as I thought they would, but at the end of the day, I've been saying it for a long time, I think Carson Beck struggles to throw the ball down the field. Obviously in that late game heroic situation, he was going to have to get the ball down the field quite a bit. DB made an incredible play, stayed underneath for just a moment on cover two, saw nobody down in the flat, ran and jumped the route. It was an excellent performance, an excellent play by Indiana. I think the major thing in that game is that Indiana is just extremely well coached. They're an extremely well coached football team, and I think as much grit as Miami had, they just weren't able to get it done because the Indiana coaching staff just seemed to be one step ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good. I mean, Indiana didn't get challenged through, much of the season other than Ohio State in the Big Ten title. They thumped Oregon, got Alabama pretty good. So I enjoyed seeing Miami kind of test them. I know it was in their own backyard, but the Hoosiers look like they're going to, for here to stay, and we'll see what they can do as long as Cignetti's there. They bring in Hoover, a quarterback from TCU, so the future does look fairly bright for them to have playoff aspirations, preseason top 5, top 10 team likely next year. So a good cap to end of the season in college.
Absolutely. Let's get right into the NFL. First game on the slate. Broncos beat the Bills 33-30 in an absolute whirlwind of emotions type football game. Many people thought that was a catch. Many people didn't think it was a catch. Many people compared it to the situation in the Bears and the Rams game. However, no matter what happened, the Denver Broncos defeated the Bills and are going to the AFC Championship. Along the way, Doug McDermott gets fired. Or did I just say Doug McDermott?
You did. You're good.
Shawnee McDermott.
Shawnee, yeah.
Sorry, Shawnee. Shawnee, yeah. Actually, I don't even apologize because you got fired. I don't even have to apologize, Shawnee. Yeah. Shawnee got fired. It was a long time coming. For me personally, I don't think you could blame that. So when you get to the same point in the season 6 times in a row, whether that be the divisional game or the AFC championship game, and you're unable to deliver, at some point, we have to stop wondering if it's the team, if it's the players. We have to start wondering if it's the scheme and if it's the coaching down the stretch. The reason that I really put the blame on a lot of the coaching for this Bills team in particular is because not only has this Bills team got to this point that they've wanted to get to many times over the last 5-6 seasons, but it seems like in each and every game they have just come up short. And I think, just like I said with Cignetti, just like I'll say with McVay and with all the other guys, along the way at the end of the game in crunch time, it really seems as though those coaches do whatever it takes to get a W. So I think it was a necessary fire. I know that Josh Allen took a lot of the blame after that game. He said he was very disappointed in himself and that he felt like he let his teammates down. He did have a number of turnovers in the game, but something that he usually does do is turn the ball over. I mean, when you're going to make that many big plays in a game, you're going to put yourself in a vulnerable spot to turn the ball over. But what do you think? Do you think that McDermott, do you think that he deserved to get fired? I mean, do you think that a lot of this game, because of the amount of turnovers that Allen had, do you think it was his fault?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't shocked that he got, canned, but I think certainly, this didn't help matters. It's been brewing for a bit now. I mean, they've been a top 5 team for a handful of years now, and they've had some disappointment in the postseason, obviously. 5 turnovers, you can argue this a lot is on Josh Allen, but I mean, he's been the best player in football, arguably, the last handful of years. I'm not blaming much on him, even though he certainly didn't play his best game. But McDermott, I think, has to take some of the blame. I mean, you go back, they hosted the Bengals a few years ago. They got blasted by Joe Mixon and the Bengals' physicality. Obviously, Mahomes and the Chiefs have gotten the best of them. And they've had some decent wins, but, once it gets to the divisional AFC title game, not one Super Bowl appearance for a clear-cut, I would argue, top 5 team. I mean, you can make a case they're easily the top team the last handful of years that hasn't made the Super Bowl, at least collectively, when you look at these last couple of years. I mean, it's pretty crazy to think that it's been disappointment after disappointment, but here we are, and I think the coach eventually is going to take the blame, obviously more than a superstar franchise quarterback.
Absolutely. Danny, why don't you kick this next game off for us?
Yeah.
We've got the Seahawks and the wounded 49ers on a 41-6 routing.
Yeah, this was domination. I mean, if you're a 90s kid, you grew up the 49ers, you either loved them or you hated them. But we talked about throughout the season that we thought the 49ers were kind of frauds, not to make the playoffs, but to be a legit Super Bowl team. Yeah,
Danny, sorry, I know we're virtual. I may have lost you there. Did you say the 49ers are fraudulent?
Yeah, hate to say it to our 49er nation. I mean, it really, for those that maybe put money on the Niners to maybe cover, sorry for that. I was not expecting a barn burner in this game, and once the kickoff taken to the house by Shaheed, it got ugly quick. And this was a game Charbonnet got hurt. Of course, he ended up tearing his ACL, they announced. So he didn't do much, but Kenneth Walker and the physicality of Seattle really just dominated a Niners team that we saw have issues, I think, against other physical teams. And even the Bears late in the year were able to score points on them. And then against Seattle's defense now twice in the last month of the season. The mighty Niners and Shanahan, that offense just couldn't do much to anything. And I think it proves to why the Seahawks are, for many people, the slight favorites to win it all. And I think it showed their defense, even special teams. But Kenneth Walker now is healthy, playing the best ball of his career, it looks like, making life a little easier on Sam Darnold, who has had some issues against the Rams in his career, at least this season. But I think Seattle on paper, they're looking about as dominant as a 1 seed has looked, at least for this season. They look like about as good as it gets right now. I mean, you got arguably the top receiver in football in JSN. So they're flexing their muscles, and I think it was pure domination really from the get-go of kickoff against those poor Niners, who had a good year for their standards, and they had injuries, but just to get the divisional round, I'd argue, was kind of a win for them. And then, of course, as expected for us at least, it kind of blew up in their face, and then now they're home now.
Yeah, I just want to first start off by saying all you bums in Frisco could sit your ass down. You could stop your fingers. You could stop DMing me. Your team is out. Your team is gone. Finito. Your team is what I like to call mortadella. Okay, here over in Chicago. And let me tell you something. It only took 124 yards of passing from Darnold to put 41 on you absolute clowns. Don't ever talk to me about ball ever again. Go run a lap on the what is that? The bridge over there. Go
Yeah,
run a lap on the bridge.
in the Bay.
Sit your ass down. I don't want to hear another word about the Niners. And let me tell you this. I those 41 points scored by the Seahawks. Let me tell you guys this down in Seattle too, over at what's the name of the stadium now? They changed it, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. It's High Link Stadium.
No, it was the something with the link. Now it's what do they call it down there?
Lumen Field. Yeah,
Lumen.
Lumen.
That's right. All you 12s down in Lumen, you got another thing coming. I'm unimpressed by the 41-point performance by the Seahawks. In fact, I think the entire nation is just double overhand twist blowing the Seahawks right now. I cannot wait for them to get served up what's coming to them. I'm going to get into that. But like I said, special teams indeed do win championships. That's what the Seahawks did in this game. Unfortunately, you played the second string Niners. I'm very unimpressed. They didn't make Darnold play a lick in that game. Darnold was going into that game with a supposed injury, hasn't thrown the ball since Thursday. It looked like on Saturday night he didn't even need to throw the ball either. He had a $124, and they routed those bums from Frisco. We go right into the next game because talk about a guy who had a rough day. CJ Stroud, rough day at the office. This guy, he might be in a body cast for the remainder of this week. Patriots sack him, destroy him, put pressure on him. He was throwing the ball up into no man's land. The Texans get pounded 28-16 in this game. And the Patriots are going to their first AFC title game. Beantown is jacked up in the last 7 years. No Brady, no problem. There's a new sheriff in town, Drake May. Cause I can't say enough good things about this Patriots team. To me personally, they play fundamental, good football, but I got to see more out of them. I got to see more. The AFC Championship just ain't good enough. How you feeling about the Pats and where they're going?
Yeah, I love their 1-2 punch in the backfield. I mean, Henderson and Stevenson. I know Stevenson was out a little bit in that second quarter with the eye injury. He came back, and he was big in the second half. But Diggs and Kayshon Boutte, I mean, they've had lots of help. Hunter Henry, I mean, they're a team together. They don't really rely on one superstar outside of their quarterback. I mean, he's been a tremendous signal caller this year with him and Stafford at top of the MVP voting by most people. But their defense with Vrabel, I mean, it's made a great strides this season. I think you saw that against C.J. Stroud, where they just pinned their ears back once they had that lead. And the secondary, I think, was very opportunistic. And they'll likely look for that again against Stidham. But this game was, you can argue, maybe not quite as close as maybe the final score indicated, but I think New England at home, I thought was going to be a tough out, and they got the job done against the Texans.
Absolutely. There isn't really much to say about that game. The Texans defense, I will, give an ovation to the Texans D. The Texans D actually kept them into that game for longer than they should have been in the game. We've seen that happen against the Steelers the week before, and then they eventually pulled away. But testament to the Texans D. If I'm the Texans this offseason, I am getting C.J. Stroud the protection that he needs and deserves. I think that in most of the games that Houston fell apart this season, they got off to a rough start. And then the way that they finished was because they were unable to protect and really get things going on the offensive side. Obviously, Nico Collins out of the game.
Yep.
Cuzzy, the Rams came to town. It was a game that I said I could not lose either way. But you know what? That wasn't true, because the way that my Bears fell and the hopes that I had being in attendance at that ball game when that fourth down went into the air in the back corner for Cole Kmet. Mind you, a throw that went 52 yards through the air, running backwards, foot plugged in the ground off the rip, hit as he's throwing. Ball goes over the defender into the corner. It felt like a walk-off scenario. A lot of people think if we took the first 3 original points on the first drive that could have been a walk-off scenario, which it really could have. But we went to OT and we lost by a field goal, 20-17 in the cold. While we lost, Caleb was heroic again, cousin. And a lot of speculation about that last play that was picked off, whether DJ Moore, whether he was loafing the route. Personally, do I think he was loafing the route? I do. But more so than even loafing the route, that was a time to really what they call cross face on the safety and work yourself to some green grass and get to the ball. And, I think Caleb had the right idea. I think a catch in that instance would have, pretty much lined us up for 4 more downs of running the ball, centering the ball, kicking a field goal, sending the Bears to the NFC Championship. But hey, if the queen had balls, she'd be the king, cousin. The Rams are headed to the NFC Championship. What did you see out of this game?
Yeah, I mean, certainly, it was a thriller. I mean, you look at towards the goal line. I mean, you had Kyron Williams punch 2 in. We had struggles at the goal line early in that game. We just couldn't find a way where we had Caleb Williams throw a touchdown from the 14 going back to the 40. Sometimes it's just a play here or there, but at the line of scrimmage, I was hoping the Bears could have, if they were able to pull this off, I thought they had to, execute a little bit better at the line of scrimmage, especially early in that game. And then late in the game, Colson Loveland got announced he got knocked out with a concussion. So, and that's why Kmet came up big, but you could argue Loveland's been their best piece in the passing department, from at least down the stretch of the season, if not a good chunk. And he's had a tremendous rookie season. So like you said, though, this is a young team. I love their future with Loveland, Caleb, lots of other pieces. I agree with what you said about DJ Moore. I think you could argue Rome Odunze, he was a shell of himself. He wasn't quite what we saw him earlier in the year when he was pretty much
hard to tell if he was healthy, right?
Correct. I think he saw him not quite the same, but still an amazing year. I think the Rams, we thought you pulled it against the Panthers in a game they didn't play their best defensively. They brought it this game and found a way to win the game, and that's what experienced teams, quarterback. You got maybe the best quarterback coach combo maybe in the NFL. So I think Stafford, LaFleur, found their, I'd say as their OC, but Stafford and McVay, who's, of course, LaFleur's guy, found a way to get the dub over the Bears. But I think Stafford and McVay, it's a tough combo, and the Bears learned the hard way down the stretch. But, can't take anything away from that. Great year for the Bears, and we'll see what the Rams next for them.
Absolutely. Well, cousin, the past is in the past. Yep. That's our divisional recap. Yep. Now let's talk about our championship Sunday. Always an action-packed Sunday, one of my favorite days of the year. The NFC and the AFC both play on the same day for a shot at the Super Bowl. First game, let's get your thoughts. Seahawks hosting the Rams at the Lumen, which they're very excited about.
Yeah, I think this is going to likely be, if I had to guess, between the two games, the closer game by the experts. We have seen occasional blowouts. I would be a little surprised if this is the one, just because I hard to imagine somebody slowing down Puka and Stafford and Kyron Williams coming off a big game. But, personally, I do like Seattle at home in this game. They've won 6 straight up as home favorites, which they are. And if we're looking at the numbers, the Rams, as road dogs, they have lost 17 of their last 20 as road dogs, which doesn't happen too often in terms of what we've seen from the Rams this year. They've, they had the Seahawks beat on that Thursday night on the road. We weren't for that crazy 2-point conversion, just picked up by Charbonnet. Look what I got here on that crazy Thursday night finish. But ultimately, I think this game may come down to Sam Darnold taking care of the football. He had, 5-6 picks in the 2 games this year against the Rams. So I'm looking for Kenneth Walker and the defense of Seattle to push the Rams to to the brink of elimination. I think this could be like a low 20s game. I mean, we got upper 40s in that point total, but I'd like to lean Seattle at home here. They're only favored by 2.5 at the moment. It is hard for me to go against McVay and against Stafford. But I do believe this looks like Seattle's team to finally win one in a decade plus, going back to Marshawn and Russell Wilson and that Legion of Boom. I lean Seattle, but I think this has the makings of a game that is likely going to come down to the final play, which is nothing new for the Rams looking at their last 2 games in the postseason. Ant, what do you see in this one?
Ozzy, I see, like I said, the entire universe high on Seattle. In fact, before we jumped on tonight, I saw numbers as high as 85% on the Seahawks. And I think that's absolutely disrespectful. I think it's insane. I think the fact that you're going to count out a Super Bowl winning coach, one of the best schematic coaches in the league, in Sean McVay, MVP, probably winner. Right now, we'll call him a candidate, in Matthew Stafford, Super Bowl champion quarterback. You're going to count out Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams on the other side with Kyron Williams and a healthy back in the lineup. Corum backing him up. I absolutely, positively, when I tell you guys this, say whatever you want about your cousin Tony. I went 4 for 4 last week, and I'm looking to go big again this week, and I'm on the Rams +3 and the Rams on the money line. Absolutely, I think the Rams go down to the Lumen and they get it done, while the whole world believes they're going to shit down their leg. And they've played 2 games that everybody's talking about. They played a tight-knit game in Carolina in the rain as a passing team, and they played a tight-knit game in Chicago. It was below 0 in the snow as a passing team yet again. Give me that 40 to 50 degree weather down at the Lumen on Sunday, and I'm taking the Iceman number 9 and both the boys, and I'm riding them high to the Super Bowl. I fucking love this team, and there's no doubt in my mind they're going to come to play. And let me just tell you guys this. The first time they played Darnold, they had him down 14-3. They let Seattle back into the game, and they still squeaked it out, the Rams. They squeaked it out. That was a 3 or a 2-point game, I remember.
Yep.
Now, the second time they played, they were de-pantsing Seattle, beating the fuck out of them on national television. And they let up a huge come-from-behind victory to Seattle, who beat them by 1.
In OT.
I could guarantee you, if the Rams jump on Seattle in this game, that will not happen again. I'm on the Rams. I love the Rams. I've been rocking with the Rams all season, and I'm taking the Rams +200 to also win the Super Bowl, because those odds are also they're not good enough for me to think the Rams are going to get destroyed in this game. That's where I'm at on the game. And I'm telling you right now, this Rams team, I love them so much. I think they have what it takes to not only win this game, but go all the way afterwards. I think that people get too caught up on games that are won by close margin, whereas me personally, I think that teams that win games by close margin are teams that simply do not give up and persevere. And when I look at teams like that, I look for the position that they're going to be in when the season's on the line down the stretch. A perfect example, I thought after that play that the Rams gave up on the road, going to OT, then getting the ball, then pissing the ball away on a 3-and-out punt, everything went wrong. But the Rams, in their mind and in their heart, they said, we're going to come out of this game victorious. And that's exactly what they did. Yeah. So that's where I'm at on the Rams. I look for teams that persevere.
They are. Yeah, they've battled adversity all year. I personally think that could be your de facto Super Bowl, No disrespect to the AFC title game, which I think has a bigger chance of a potential blowout. Patriots, Broncos, you want to jump into this one?
Absolutely. I want to jump into it, cousin. I want to talk about the fact that it's so unfortunate for Bronco country to go into this game without their fearless leader, Bo Nix. A lot of guys were wondering how Bo Nix would fare against Buffalo. And me personally, watching that game as a quarterback guy, I thought Bo Nix was exceptional in that game. I thought he made huge passes at big moments in that game. You seen the long ball down the sideline to put them ahead. I thought that was an incredible play in a major situation. I just think Bo Nix, when I watch this guy play, he's got a lot of grit. He's not as thick and as big as Baker Mayfield, let's say, right? But he's the kind of guy that he drops back to pass first. And if he's got to use his legs, he's fearless. I love the way that he plays. I think he gives Denver an opportunity to win in every game. But I'm going to tell you who really gives Denver an opportunity to win in every game, and that is that stout, unbelievable defense. And I think they're going to show up again in this game. I think they're going to add pressure to Drake May. You've seen what they did to Josh Allen. I know Drake May's getting a lot of praise. He's getting a lot of praise from me too. But if they were able to dismantle Allen the way that they did, nobody is going to sit here and tell me that they're not able to get to May and make his life miserable in a must-win game for New England. I know that Nix isn't playing, but with that being said, I'm going to give you a Cuzzy Calamari special because Cuzzy phoned in and he said, cousin, if you're going to do one thing tonight on the show, you tell the people that we're both riding the Broncos +7, -155 in this game. I think the Bronco D keeps them in it. And before you give your pick, Danny, I just want to go over something.
Yep.
We got Jarrett Stidham coming into this game.
Yes.
Jarrett Stidham coming into this game, okay? Jarrett Stidham drafted by New England as the successor of Tom Brady. Didn't quite get his shot in New England. Josh McDaniels jumps to the Raiders. Josh McDaniels calls up Stidham. He says, come down here to the desert. I want you to make a name for yourself. Gets down there. The Raiders front office says, whoa, hold on a minute. We just gave D. Carr $140 million. And no area of Las Vegas, not even on the Strip, are we putting Jarrett Stidham in as the starting quarterback when I'm shelling out $140 million? This led to McDaniels arguing with the front office, getting fired middle of the season, as you saw, sat a year out, came back, became the OC of which team, Danny?
You tell me.
The New England Patriots.
Yep.
Who now have Drake May. So you know what they said? We don't need Stidham. We got Drake May.
Of course.
But Sean Payton, a guru, you know what he said? He said, wait a minute, there's a guy down in the desert right now playing on one of the shittiest football teams that's ever been created in America. He's wasting his life down in Las Vegas on this team. I'm going to grab him to be my backup. And he goes in front of the media with a big ball sack. And he says, watch out for Jarrett Stidham. Watch what this guy's going to do. I got a lot of faith in Stidham. I got a lot of faith in the Bronco DM on the Broncos +7. Bronco country, let's ride.
I like that pick. I do think they're going to keep this game close. I think this can be a defensive battle. I would look at the under potentially. I think this could be back and forth. It could be right near the number, but I could see first team to 20 wins this game. So it's going to be close to the number. I think Denver special teams, Will Lutz has been huge. He's been clutch. Looking back at that giant comeback early in the year, he was big, obviously, this past weekend against the Bills with, 4 field goals. So I think there's a chance this game could come down to potentially a kick. I like Denver to cover this number, especially if you jumped on it early, got it, 5.5?
Correct.
I'm close to the vest with you. I would lean Patriots to win this game close. But Denver's had the best of New England. They're 2-0 against the Patriots in AFC title games, 4-1 all time in the playoffs. And these are two of the most well-known AFC teams in terms of appearing in the Super Bowl. The Patriots have 11 trips. That's first all time. Denver tied for second with 8. So something's got to give here. I'm leaning New England to exact some revenge. It's been a while since, really got to go back to, I think, with the T-Boat year where they got smoked by New England in Foxborough. The last time New England really got the best of Denver. So, but you brought up McDaniels and what he's meant for New England and Drake May, and I'm going to side with caution in New England, I think, overall. But Denver did, I think, is due to play better defensively because they gave up a few chunk plays to Josh Allen and the Bills, and a lot of that is Josh Allen being Superman. I'm going to lean Patriots, but, I'm with you with the points. I like Denver. But either way, I think we're set up for a tremendous Super Bowl with these two games. You got the 1 and the 5, but the Rams, despite being a wild card, was considered a top 2 or 3 NFC team pretty much all year. And then, of course, you got the 1 and 2s here in the AFC. So this is going to be a thriller. I really do believe that this game could come down, both games, down to maybe a kick, a possession. Jarrett Stidham taking care of the football, maybe getting Sutton more involved. You saw him with 4 catches, but really for the first 3+ quarters, he was getting goosed out there. And even some PIs you saw against the Bills that Bo Nix was able to do. I think Stidham can potentially do the same, but getting Sutton involved. We'll see if Pat Bryant plays. Mims came up big. Evan Ingram had 1 catch. Maybe they'll get him more involved. Harvey was huge out of the backfield as a pass catcher. So I'm intrigued. I do think Denver's weapons can give New England some fits. So this is going to be really a mastermind battles with Peyton. And then, of course, Vrabel offense, defense. And obviously we know McDaniels, what he's done for the Patriots offense. So I'm expecting 2 thrillers. I lean Seattle on the road, New England on the road. But I would not be shocked with either team that I'm picking to lean. I think you can't go wrong with the Rams, like you mentioned. I lean New England to win, but I do like Denver getting, if you can get 5.5 or 5. I know it's gone a little bit lower in Denver's case, but at home, mile high, home field advantage, I think for Denver at least, can really give them an ultimate advantage here.
Yeah, and I think before we go, guys, I want to teach you this, is when you see the public in a game like this hammering the Patriots, but yet the Broncos go from 5 and a hook down to 4 and a hook.
Correct.
Something's really, really wrong there. Keep your eyes on that up until game time. Cousins, on behalf of myself, your Uncle Sharp, on behalf of Bonesy, on behalf of our cousin who we love and we wish a speedy recovery, $1 Million Marco, I love you, buddy. Guys, that's going to be all she wrote from a championship show. Your cousins here at All In are rocking with you this weekend. We wish you the absolute best. We love you. Good night.